So we play one of those hit singles from the 80s that we had. And this one's I really do feel close to this song, but I'll tell you, you've never heard it till you hear Eddie Vedder sing it, so I thought maybe Eddie'd come out.
summer dream. Oh, I never known nothing quite like this. Don't it feel like tonight might never be again? Maybe we know better and try and pretend. Honey, no one could have ever told me about this. I said, yeah, 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 yeah. And waiting is the hardest part. Every day you see one more card. You take it on faith, you take it to the heart. The waiting is the hardest part. Yeah, I might have chased a couple women around. All the year got me was down. Yeah, and there were those who made me feel good, but never as good as I'm feeling right now. Baby, you're the only one that ever knows how to make me wanna live like I wanna live now. I said, yeah, 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 yeah. And waiting is the hardest part. Every day you get one more part. You take it on faith, you take it to the heart. The waiting is the hardest part. You take it on faith, you take it to the heart. The waiting is the hardest part. Yeah, the waiting is the hardest
Eddie's going to be back a little bit later. We got a long way to go.
Woo! Good afternoon, friends. Yes, little Tom Petty with special guest Eddie Vedder singing a classic because Cassie has been keeping us waiting for so long for this. Now, here's the thing, though. I feel kind of bad because I know Baker was live earlier. I don't know if he still is, and I don't want to step on his toes. I feel really bad about that. It's just the only time that I could do this today. When I started thinking about it, I was like, oh shit, I better set it up now. Because and sometimes it happens like that, and I hate when that happens because I really like when other creators get, a lot of views. And I really like Baker, and I got a lot of respect for him. But I do got to go over this, and it looks like today might be the only chance I get. And that's not to say that I won't go live again later. That's probably, I mean, what I'm planning on doing is, here's the thing. What I plan on doing is, hopefully, if it works out that way, a stream with the Dad Challenge podcast. And because of something that I brought up in Anti-Deb stream, and I really want to go over it. There's actually another channel going over the same thing right now. So it's not like a big secret. Like, this is basically this Lauren Matthias woman who is all over the YouTube streets for being basically a complete and utter shitbag. She is now a proven plagiarist, or a plagiarizer, as George W. would say. But a plagiarizer who not only plagiarized someone else's shit, but a good friend of mine's, someone who I know works harder than anybody, someone who is one of the top probably 5 people that I respect most on the planet ever. And oh, I haven't seen that. Yeah, no, yeah, if I can, I absolutely will. Yes. Thank you for that, Kate. So, and yeah, totally. Like, she totally stole Annie's shit. She totally stole Annie's shit. And that's the thing, is Annie doesn't even, here's the thing, I'm way more pissed about it than Annie is. Like, Annie's not even mad about it. She's Annie. The cool thing about Annie is, what you got to understand about Annie Elise is, she's where she is because she is always cool. Always cool. She is always cool. She is always like in the direction of which is the most logical place to go where positive results are going to take place. And I'm heading down that way, and I'm going to do it like a bullet, and that's just how she is. She looks at it like, I mean, she knows it's fucked up. Like, she knows it's bullshit, but she's not mad about it, at least not yet. I don't know. I mean, whatever she chooses to do, I don't know what she would, but I'm not getting the impression that she's mad about it. You know what I mean? So, but she obviously knows it's fucked up, and it's wrong, and it's not okay. It's just, question is, she's the victim in this, but that's not entirely true, though, because it's not just Annie who's the victim of that. It's her viewers. It's her viewers. Like, do her viewers, like, does Lauren Matthias' Hidden True Crimes viewers, is a big question. Do they pay for memberships in Patreon for a Temu Annie Elise? Is that what is going on? Is that the kind of fucking, is that the kind of organization that that Lauren Matthias is running? A fucking A Denise Huxtable version of a Gordon Gartrell shirt, but YouTube channel of Annie Elise. Is that what we're looking at here from Lauren Matthias? Is that the best she's got? Like, what a fucking fake ass piece of shit lady this is. Because the thing is like the way Annie sees it, and I don't want to speak for her, but knowing her as long as I have and being friends with her first, and she hates when I do this shit, by the way. She fucking hates this shit, you know? But the fact of the matter is that, like, dude, like, that's my homie, dude. And she just is that way. She just is like, she's not the kind of person that goes, oh my God, you have to love me because I work so fucking hard. And you have to do this and blah, blah, blah. She's not going to sit up there and fucking fake cry and start talking about herself and how hard she works and blah, 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 blah. But she's not going to do that shit. That's not Annie. She doesn't do that shit. You know, what Annie does is she just fucking rocks and doesn't make excuses. That's it. Annie just rocks. She fucking is hardcore and does what she does. And that's the thing is, so she's just doing that. She's not focused on being recognized for doing it. So when there's somebody like me who just admires her as much as I do, I get angry. I get irritated. Angry is a harsh word. I'm not angry, but I'm fucking irritated that this woman has the audacity to play victim for 9 hours on a live stream and do the shit that she's done. And even, dude, look, hold on. Let me look something up real quick. I'm going to go over this real quick. Hold on. One hour and 13 minutes. Okay. So let me look this. Let me okay. Which one's the fucking, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to spot. There it is. Okay. So let's do this just for a second. Bear with me, folks.
Okay. A couple of days later, I was sent a Reddit comment by somebody, and we learned that it was made by my stalker. Just a couple days later, alleging that I was plagiarizing and that I had poached an employee from another person in my industry. Oh, we have it. Here it is. Supposedly, Lauren poached an employee, and the employee is recycling scripts that she did for Lauren. Not sure if this is one of those cases, but a friend of mine overheard the girl she poached from talk all about it at one of the trials. This isn't true. It was put on Reddit. And so I thought, who did this? Well, luckily, she left a lot of trails to confirm without doubt that it is my stalker. And we have that evidence. I'm not going to show it now, but we have the evidence because she has since deleted that and much of her public posts. But we have.
So you get the idea. So let me do this real quick. Let me see if I can. Okay. So I need to see the transcripts. Here we go. There we go. So I'm gonna put the transcripts up for this video. And I don't know how well you can see them, but I'll do it like this. So the transcripts are off here to the side. This is a transcript. So for those of you who can look closely at it, it's the best I can do. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just play okay. So let's compare the transcript to Lauren Matthias's last video. Okay. All right. You guys with me so far?
Some cases make us take a hard look at what people do when they're scared or angry. And
Can you guys hear that okay? Let me know in the chat if you can hear that okay. All right, cool. All right, here we go.
push us to question just how far someone should be able to go when they say they're defending their home. And few cases bring that debate into sharper focus than what happened in Littlefield's, Minnesota on Thanksgiving Day in 2012. It began the way many rural crime stories do. A homeowner on edge after a series of break-ins and two teenagers who made a dangerous, life-altering choice. Haley Kiefer and her cousin Nicholas Brady broke into the home of 64-year-old Byron David Smith, likely expecting to grab what they could and get out. But what they found instead was a man waiting, a man who would later say he genuinely believed he had reached his
Is this the
breaking
right
point.
video?
What unfolded in
I
Byron's
think
basement
so.
was anything
Hold on.
but simple. But many people see some cases make us take a hard look at what people do when they're scared or angry and push us to question just how far someone should be able to go when they say they're defending their home.
Be a bit of a controversial one, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's a long one, so get ready. We can all agree that a person's home should be the place where they feel the most safe and the most secure. The right to bear arms is a very sensitive topic, but most people would agree that everyone has the basic right to protect their home. On Elm Street, in the city of Little Falls, Minnesota, after a retired man had been burglarized nearly a dozen times, he started to feel more and more violated and afraid in his own home. So with little help from law enforcement and at his wit's end, he decided to take matters into his own hands by
that debate into sharper focus than what happened in Littlefield's, Minnesota on Thanksgiving Day in 2012. It began the way many rural crime stories do. A homeowner on edge after a series of break-ins and two teenagers who made a dangerous, life-altering choice. Haley Kiefer and her cousin Nicholas Brady broke into the home of 64-year-old Byron David Smith, likely expecting to grab what they could and get out. But what they
All right.
by securing his home the best that he could. He armed himself in his home and waited for the next inevitable break-in. But this time, he would be ready. In this story, we will discuss this truly tragic and personally, I think, avoidable situation and how two teens' bad choices were...
Hold on. I think it's here.
Byron David Smith was born on June 11th, 1948 in Little Falls, Minnesota. He was
a man who would later say he genuinely believed edge after a series of break-ins and two teenagers who made a dangerous, life-altering. But what they found instead was a man waiting, a man who would later say he genuinely believed he had reached his breaking point. Prosecutors argued the tapes revealed someone might do a justification. It's about that blur Matthias of Byron
Here we
David
go.
Matthias, and this is Hidden True Crime, where we explore the hidden motives
Here we go.
behind some of the most unimaginable crimes. And today we're digging into the complicated, controversial case of Byron David Smith, and the questions it still raises about danger, instinct, and what self-defense truly means.
He was born to parents Ted and
A home is supposed to be the one place where a person feels completely safe, a sanctuary from the outside world. In the quiet city of Little Falls, Minnesota, one retired man found that sanctuary under constant threat. Repeated burglaries, stolen possessions, and little assistance from law enforcement left him fearful in his own home. To protect himself and his property, he took extreme measures, arming himself and preparing for the next inevitable intrusion. And that intrusion on Thanksgiving 2012 would come from two local teenagers, familiar faces in the town, and to the man himself. The events that followed would divide the community, spark debates over the right to self-defense, and raise uncomfortable questions. When does preparation cross the line into premeditation? And where and when does self-protection become something far darker? Byron David Smith was born on June 11th, 1948 in Little Falls, Minnesota to Ted and Ida Smith.
Byron David Smith was born on June 11th, 1948 in Little Falls, Minnesota. He was born to parents Ted and Ida Smith. Byron and his older
grew up with an older brother in a household marked by stability and encouragement. Both
brother grew up in a happy household, and they participated in the Boy Scouts from a very young age. Byron would go on to become an Eagle Scout, which is the highest rank in the Scout system, an honor that only 4% of Boy Scouts ever receive. He became an avid outdoorsman and always wanted to make his parents proud. He worked hard to live up to his father's achievements.
The rank of Eagle Scout. The lessons of discipline, responsibility, and leadership stayed with him. Throughout his life, Byron's father, Ted, was a decorated Army veteran, a man whose service in World War II.
Who was a decorated Army veteran serving in World War II as a pilot. During a raid in Germany,
During the raid over Germany, Ted's plane was shot down. He spent 19 months as a prisoner.
Are you guys hearing this shit?
He was awarded a Rolex watch by the French government, recognizing his bravery and resilience.
Hold on.
His plane was shot down, and he became a prison officer of war for 19 months. After his release, he was given a Rolex watch by the French government for his service and time spent as a prisoner of war, which he would later pass on to his son Byron. Byron cherished this watch.
This watch would one day become a treasured heirloom for Byron, a symbol of courage and sacrifice he carried with pride. Academically gifted, Byron graduated second in his class from Little Falls High School. He went on to join the U.S. Air Force as an electrical engineer for his skills.
Need I continue? Need I continue? Need I continue? Yeah, Annie's video was 2 years prior. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I think. Because remember what she said in her video here. Remember, I'm going to play it one more time. I'm going to play it one more time for you. 1 hour, 13 minutes, I remember. Oh, no. All right. Let me share this screen. Let me play this one more time for you guys, because this is going to help my point.
In a message like this, especially with accusations and threats, really puts salt in the wounds. I didn't expect that from you. A couple of days later, I was sent a Reddit comment by somebody, and we learned that it was made by my stalker. Just a couple
Oh,
days later,
really?
alleging that I was plagiarizing and that I had poached an employee from another person in my industry.
Now,
I
this
don't
is a well-known fact. This Grayson person that works for Lauren used to work for Annie. And in this right here, in this shit right here, supposedly Lauren poached blah, blah, blah employee recycling scripts she did for, I mean, that's a pretty, that looks like ANNIE. It could be for Lauren. No, employee for recycling script she did for Lauren. Not sure if this is one of those cases, but a friend of mine overheard the girl she poached from and talked about it at one of the trials. So the fact of the matter is here, I mean, I like, this is not something confirmed or disconfirmed with anybody. All I got confirmed, I heard about this from somebody else. I contacted Annie while I was live yesterday. That's why I ended the live, because I forgot to mute my mic. But you really couldn't hear anything anyway. You could just hear me mostly, but I was like, yo, is this for real? You know? And so I was trying to confirm this with Annie. And yeah, she totally plagiarized this thing. I bet it just goes on and on and on. You know? Like, I bet it just goes on and on and on. But she absolutely, like, this can't be a coincidence, is my point. This tweet right here, this comment right here, cannot be a coincidence from the fact that Grayson used to work for Annie and now works for her. And this accusation is out there and has been out there. And this is a script from fucking from 2023. And she's going over it now. And she's just like a script from 2 years ago that Annie fucking posted 2 fucking years ago, and she steals it. And it's up. Think about the audacity in that. All it took was for people to just compare it the way that I just did right now. It took me 5 fucking minutes. That's all it took. Is for somebody to go, wait a minute, I've heard that before. Dude, Annie has over 1 million subs. Dude, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, man. Like, I feel like, and Annie would never fucking, man, she'll never sign off on this shit, but I feel like this is like a wannabe fucking Annie, dude. I feel like this is a single white female crazy fucking bullshit. Like, I'm going to poach her fucking employees, and then I'm going to fucking try to be her. I'm going to try to be the closest thing to Annie Elise that I can be. Like, yo, that is sick. This lady is off her shit, dude. And the best part is this lady is suing people, bro. She's suing the victim, a family member of a victim of one of the most high-profile cases. She's suing them. She copyright struck them. Dude. This lady had the fucking balls to copyright strike somebody, and she's straight up stealing, poaching scripts and stealing content from established hardworking creators. And when I say hardworking, I mean hardworking. And this is the part that makes me, this is why it makes me mad. Because nobody I know works harder than Annie. Dude, I'm telling you, Annie was like, I'm going to write, she fucking like 2020 or something. I think it was like a New Year's resolution where she was like, I'm going to put out a video every single day of this year. I'm putting out a video every single day of this year. She fucking wrote the scripts, recorded them, edited them, put them out. Now she's touring the country, packing venues all over the country, over 1 million subs on YouTube, like 1.3 million or something like that. I've said this 100,000 times, dude. Nobody deserves the success that Annie Elise has more than Annie Elise. Street Squirrel gifted 5 memberships. Holy shit. Thanks, buddy. Where's my shit, man? Hold on. We got to give you we got to turn up for you. There we go. Thanks, Street Squirrel. Helen Brogna became a member, right on. And Tracy Cooley, sorry I missed this. You know Lauren will throw Grayson under the bus for this. Right. Exactly. That's some shady shit. She'll say, oh, well, I had Grayson write my scripts for me. She'll say some shit like that. Oh, I had Grayson write my scripts for me. I didn't know that she was fucking using scripts from other people that she was employed with. I didn't know that. And Annie, all she did was confirm for me, like, because she's my friend. I heard about it and I was like, yo, is this fucking true? She's like, yeah, other people are sending me a shit about it. It's definitely true. Yeah. She said like 15% of it was not hers, because obviously she's going to ad lib a little bit, throw a little flavor in there. But that shit was clearly plagiarized. If you turn that shit into a fucking college professor, bro, they throw you out of school. Like, they fucking kick you out over that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I say nobody deserves the success that Annie gets, it's because she fucking works hard for it. That's not for some asshole like this to come along and fucking, and then this bitch has the nerve to talk about stalkers. That's some stalker ass shit. That's some stalker ass shit, Lauren Matthias. Stalker ass shit to steal somebody else's content. The fuck out of here. Crazy. Fucking mind-blowing. But anyway, let's get on with the Kasi stuff. Yo, sweet. Okay. And we're gonna see eventually, we're gonna see comparison videos. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as this happened, like, the first person I called was Aiden, because Aiden in his title yesterday had Lauren Matthias stuff that he was going to go over. So I was like, yo, I called him up and I was like, yo, I got something for you. And I told him about it real quick, you know, and he was like, oh, all right, cool, thanks. But he never got around to, I mean, there was so much other stuff he went over last night. He just never got around to talking about Lauren last night. So, you know, that happens. I do that all the time. I do that all the time. But yeah, let's get on with the Kasi stuff, because and thanks for the Baker raid. Right on. This is 26 pages, so this isn't going to be that long, and we should be able to get through this. Yeah, don't get pissed, Ray. Like, all it is, I mean, it's fucked up. You know what I mean? But all it does is show how fucking pathetic she is. All you got to do is expose it. You know what I mean? It's effective enough as it is. I mean, now this woman, the only thing this woman had going for her from her supporters was that she was a good, insightful creator. It shows that she has no fucking insight. She has to steal other people's fucking insight. So fuck her. She's fucking done. She's done. So here we go with I should just let Kasi G up here and read it in his voice. Commonwealth versus Aiden Timothy Carney. Commonwealth's memorandum in opposition to Attorney Bettero's affidavit in support of motion, and associated submissions, aka mega motion. Let's see here. The defendant has filed a group of documents supporting an unfiled motion or motions, most notably what is effectively a motion for reconsideration of the denial in large part of the defendant's previously filed and decided McCarthy-Odell motion to dismiss. The present defense documents include Attorney Mark A. Betterow, aka the Mighty One, affidavit to support of motion, various exhibits, about 55, and a memorandum of law in support of motions to dismiss and indictments, 33, blah, 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 blah. Functionally, it is difficult to distinguish the Betterow affidavit from a memorandum of law, although it serves the function of informing the court what unfiled motions it is supporting. Okay. Betterow affidavit in brief of the defense seeks outright dismissal of the pending indictments pursuant to Commonwealth versus Odell, 1984, or alternatively an evidentiary hearing in support of that aim. Dismissal of the indictments for the Commonwealth's alleged failures in providing discovery, disqualification of Special Prosecutor Ken Mello. Ken Mello. After setting forth these aims, the Betterow affidavit first lurches into section entitled Background, which is essentially a hagiographic portrait of the defendant. I think that's how you say that word. Of the defendant as a crusading, heroic journalist, fearlessly pursuing the truth. Wait a second. We got to do this. We got to do it.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
All right, Brass. Thank you so much. Chopped turkey for Drago and turkey leg for Clubber. Okay. Man, they get spoiled, man. I promise you that. They sure do. And you guys spoil them a lot too. So like, I feel like I'm that guy, man. Like when you guys give me money and shit and you guys say for Clubber, like I feel like I have to fucking, like I got to make sure that they get the spoils from how much you guys love them and you've never even got to pet them. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like I got to get them shit and just make their life totally fucking awesome as much as I can. So thank you guys for that. After setting forth these aims, Betterow affidavit first lurches into, I already read that. Okay, here we go. Exposing blah 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 witnesses background, essentially hagiographic portrait of a defense crusading heroic journalist fearlessly pursuing the truth, exposing blah 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 false something in the Commonwealth witnesses in the Karen Reed case, laying bare the corruption of local blah 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 blah, resisting the attempts of the forces of evil, aka the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, to deter him in his courageous and never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the First Amendment. Like, the snark here is overwhelming, bro. Kasi, like, are you sure it wasn't the Kasi in my chat that wrote that shit, bro? Oh, she's like Texas, gifted 20 memberships. Coming in hot. Oh, my God. You are absolutely fantastic. I'm telling you, man, those clubber walks are getting crowded. I love it. Thank you so much. You guys, your support is unbelievable. In reading Betterow's encomiums of St. Carney, holy shit, he's not even trying. Holy fucking shit. What am I looking at right now, bro? What am I reading? Did Kasi just totally just go into fuck it mode, drop his pants in the grocery store and take a shit and say, hey, I'm old. Who cares? Is that what just happened? Did he finally do it? Like, because I can hear him saying this shit. I am requesting Kasi G. Kasi G, if you're out there, if you're in the chat, if you're listening, we want a video on your channel of you reading this. This has to happen. This must be done. This must be done. Or you can call in and you can read it on your end. You can call in, you can read it on your end, and I'll just fucking interrupt you from time to time. I feel like this could work. I feel like it could work. Let's see. Holy shit, Miss V USFC gifted 20 membership. She is on fire as well. Holy mother of God. All right. Do you have your copy? Can you read it on your end? Let's do that. I mean, he has the number. Let me just but I can't share both screens. So that's a problem. I can't share both screens. So what I'm going to have to do is just send him a link somehow. Listen, I'm dropping the link in the chat. Nobody click on it but Kasi. Kasi has to click on the link. Nobody else click on this link. Okay? I'm not letting nobody else up unless it's Kasi. Just so you know. This is too much. Like, this can't be. I feel like I'm doing an injustice if I have access to, especially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove in my chat. I feel like if I have access to him reading this, that I'm not going to squander that blessing. I'm just not going to do that. It has to happen. It has to be done. It is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Shit. Light yourself on fire, why don't you, Will? Great idea. Yeah, no problem. I'm just going to look over chat. No, man. That's because this is the dopest chat in the world, bro. Like, I mean, Jimmy's chat is dope, but I feel like my chat is better. But even though it's pretty much the same chat. It's pretty much the same chat. You know, like, same people watch me, watch Nurse Kim, watch Auntie Deb. Oh, everybody was blowing up my chat about the hot mic, you know? I mean, it wasn't nothing. It was just Annie basically telling me, yeah, that's, you know, people were sending me shit, and that's definitely my shit. But thank God I was playing Microdot's video, and for once, StreamYard sound is so shitty. StreamYard sound is so shitty. For once, that worked out in a creator's favor. The first time ever in history that StreamYard shitty fucking sound problems worked out in a YouTuber's favor, and Microdots' video was cutting out Annie's voice. But I edited it anyway. Unfortunately, you can't see the chat anymore. You could watch the movie. You could watch the movie. You could watch the live stream, but you won't be able to see the chat, unfortunately. And yeah, I deleted my, and I'm pretty neurotic too about stuff like that. like I deleted my members only, the Clubber Walk from today, only because like I wasn't paying close enough attention a lot, and I wasn't sure if I got a neighbor on camera, and I don't like getting other people on camera when I do live streams, if I can help it, unless it's like, you know, a fucking court, you know, court gathering, you know what I mean? But like I prefer not to. And I'm weird about that. And so like if there was even a chance, I just thought like maybe there was a chance. I wasn't sure even if I did, but I just deleted it. It's not a big deal because I do them almost every day. So it's like whatever. I didn't say anything of any amazing significance, and I have time to kill while we wait for specially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove. So yeah, this is
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Cat, 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 cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare we?
Amy McCabe, thank you. Today's my birthday. No better way to spend it with you on a live stream. Happy Thanksgiving, Will. Happy Thanksgiving and happy birthday to you, Amy McCabe. Everybody, let's give Amy McCabe a round of applause for being born. Like everybody else. I'm such a fucking Grinch with birthdays. I'm such a dick. Oh my god. Yeah. Give me 1 second here, folks. Let's keep this up here. '70s game show music. I mean, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, 2010s. I mean, Jesus, dude. Did he die? Did specially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove die on his way here? Is that what happened? He had to set up his computer. Oh my God. He's probably going, oh my God, fuck. Losing his shit. That's what happens to me. Oh, do I have to repost the link? Yeah, again, this is just for Kasi G, y'all. Y'all can kiss my grits. I'm not pinning the link. I'm not pinning the link. There he is. Here we go. People, it's Specially Appointed Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, y'all.
Yeah, how's everybody doing out there? Sorry, I had to adjust my antennas real quick.
Okay, good. How are your antennas?
I think they're headed in the right direction, catching signal.
Catching signal?
Sure.
Are you ready to do this since you made us wait for fucking ever for this response? Are you ready to read this? I think you owe us that much is to read it out loud to the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm ready to do it. Where did you leave off there? Well, you want me to start from the beginning?
Let's just start again at the after the setting.
After the setting. All right, 1 minute, please.
It's page 1, and so it's like the last paragraph. Start at the last paragraph on page 1.
Okay. All
After setting forth these aims. Sorry,
man of advanced years here. I'm trying to set things up.
and we want full snark, by the way, because you're fucking awfully snarky in this motion.
So I've heard. Yeah. Sorry, 1 more minute, please.
What do you mean you've heard? You wrote it. Dementia already?
I've heard people say it's snarky, but I think it's, pretty good.
No, it's so far it's a snarky pile of shit. So take your medicine and read it.
Okay, all right. Believe me, I've been catching it from all sides, Will, for 8 days.
Well, you did that to yourself.
Well, yeah, I know.
It's you've been keeping us waiting forever and ever and ever, and just giving excuses. And
Right.
I mean, you have been saying that you no longer give any fucks, right? And now, I mean, this motion kind of spells it out. Seems like
It kind of does. It almost seems like that's what I'm doing.
right. It certainly does.
So we're going to start at the beginning.
No, not at the very top. At the final paragraph. Like, you see what I'm sharing here, where my cursor is. Final paragraph on page 1. After setting forth these aims.
Okay, after setting forth these. Okay.
Right.
All right, got it. After setting forth these aims, the Betterow affidavit first lurches into a section entitled Background, which is essentially a hagiographic portrait of the defendant as a crusading, heroic journalist, fearlessly pursuing the truth, exposing the falsehoods of the Commonwealth witnesses in the Karen Reed case, laying bare the corruption of local and state. I'm sorry, there's a mark over that. I'm guessing it's government. I can't remember what I wrote. Give me a break. Okay. In resisting the attempts of the forces of evil, aka the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, to deter him in his courageous and never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the First Amendment.
Hey, can we 1.5 this a little bit, bro?
I mean, all right. Okay, well. All right. In reading Betterow's, in reading Betterow's encomiums to St. Kearney, one is irresistibly reminded of Oscar Wilde's comment on the death of Little Nell, the virtuous child. And
Today, Junior?
have a heart of stone not to laugh. You got that right. The Commonwealth has had occasion to respond to such drivel in the past with some reluctance now does so again. Rather than reinvent the wheel, it quotes liberally from its response to the defendant's previous motion to dismiss. Man, this is some janky writing I did. Okay.
Oh, that shit.
Defending Kearney is self-employed, supporting himself via a variety of internet presentations. That's a trademarked word.
Can't. This is amazing.
Appearing on such outlets as YouTube, Facebook, X, which used to be Twitter, apparently. He broadcasts quite frequently, at least 4 times a week, sometimes more if you're a sex cult member, and has monetized his productions in various ways, including selling subscriptions, begging online contributions, selling T-shirts, and other memorabilia. He attempts to present himself to the viewing public much as he seeks to portray himself to this court as an investigative journalist, reporting on matters of public concern, who often breaks stories by conducting investigations into matters neglected by law enforcement before viewers' very eyes on live air. And there's some case law bullshit there. I won't read that. The crusading journalist, quote unquote, pose is supplemented by assertions of virtuous moral outrage, fearlessness in the face of opposition, and crass vulgarity, as seen, for example, in the opening of his YouTube shows, which begin with an extensive repeat chant of, "I'm going to fuck you up," quote unquote. I believe that's a song, but I'll fix that. I'm sorry. Okay. That's actually Alan Jackson singing that song.
I will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right. So already the shit is being twisted. Like, dude, like you realize that this can be referenced, Kasi. Like, what are you doing? This is fucking retarded.
There's a couple things that probably have to tweak, Will. I mean,
what are you trying to pull here?
Well, it's kind of clear what I'm trying to pull, but
well, quit pulling on that and fucking write a motion that's not full of bullshit.
Yeah, well, I'm a man of advanced years. So all I got is pulling.
Just fucking go on. Just keep reading the goddamn
all right.
thing.
Okay. All right. The indictments against Kearney at issue in the defendant's original motion to dismiss largely, perhaps entirely, grew out of his activities connected with the Karen Reed case and its witnesses. Reed has pleaded not guilty to charges of second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating the influence, and leaving the scene of a motor vehicle accident after personal injury that resulted in death.
Let me ask you this, Kasi, real quick. Why didn't you just say that she was acquitted of them? Why that she pled guilty? Why just well, you know what I mean?
Both things are true.
Jesus Christ. All right, whatever.
I mean, okay. All right. As recently summarized in the press, the Commonwealth alleges that Reed, quote, backed her Lexus SUV in a drunken rage into her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, early on January 29th, 2022, after dropping him off outside a crazy person's at Canton home following a night of bar hopping, unquote. Anderson Travis prosecutors opposed the motion to dismiss against Karen Reed, calling allegations of evidence tampering baseless. That's from the Boston Globe. Okay. The defense claims that Reed, quote, was framed that O'Keefe entered the house owned at the time by a fellow Boston police officer, where he was fatally beaten in the basement and possibly attacked by a crazy German shepherd named Chloe, now named Cora, and his body was planted on the front lawn. Okay, so there's a footnote here, and I think
let's read that footnote.
Okay, a subsequent set of indictments against Mr. Kearney named a former paramour turned informant for the Commonwealth, Lindsay Gatuni, as an alleged victim. Those indictments have since been dismissed by the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. All right, moving on. Gatuni makes her first appearance.
Gatuni, yes.
Yeah, at some point early in the Karen Reed prosecution, on or about April of 2023, Kearney made her the subject of some of his online presentations, apparently drawing a favorable audience response. One person who took note was Natalie Wywicki, the German Bertschneider, who had attended Bentley College with Reed from 1998 to 2022 and was now living in California. In February 2022, Wywicki saw news articles about the Karen Reed arrest stemming from the death of John O'Keefe, prompting her to contact Reed and offer support. The two women began an ongoing series of conversations covering a number of topics, among them Reed's alleged innocence. Reed sent Wywicki pictures of Colin Albert and suggested that he and O'Keefe shared mutual animosity. In April 2023, Wywicki spoke of a Facebook supporter of Reed's who told her she had a friend, Kearney, who would be willing to cover Reed's story. Wywicki asked Reed if she would be interested, and she was. To facilitate communication about the case, Reed instructed Wywicki to download a messaging app called Signal.
Oh,
heard of that before?
wow. You went there, huh?
Well, I'm just, I'm trying to give context here. All right. Which auto-deleted messages after a certain period of time. Wywicki assumed the role of go-between between Reed and Kearney, with Reed sending her information and pictures and Natalie pasting it into text messages for Kearney. Pasting it. Wywicki stated that these text messages included.
She's Elmer.
Copying.
She's Elmer's pasting them.
Yeah, the stuff that weird kids eat in grammar school. That stuff. Anyways, Wywicki stated that these text messages included information regarding witnesses, the home address of Pooper Tractor, pictures of witnesses, autopsy photographs, motions filed by her attorneys, police reports and photographs, etc., taken by the MSP, Mass State Police. All right, in short, Reed passed along through Wywicki everything to Kearney would need to act as a press agent for Karen Reed while feigning the role of crusading investigative reporter. Reed would sometimes point out mistakes in Kearney's blog presentation to Wywicki. For his part, Kearney would ask questions about court paperwork, which Wywicki would forward to Reed, and so on and so forth. He was a go-between. Okay. Reed and Kearney took pains to conceal their relationship from the public. She would sometimes send him information, but could tell him not to put it in the air, typically because it was information that had come through discovery but was not public. Inferably, use of the information would alert this court. And an observant follower of Kearney's, if such exists, that she was feeding him information. It is also clear that Reed enlisted the cooperation of counsel in coordinating her information dumps to Kearney by Lieutenant Brian Tully's testimony provides a telling example, which he played.
Today, Junior?
Okay. In mid-May, Kearney sent Wywicki a picture of himself wearing a T-shirt depicting a Google search with the phrase, "How long to die in cold?" I could switch that to "How long to die in cold," I believe. That's another thing I got to fix, Will. Stick with me.
Okay.
Okay. A reference to a piece of evidence in Commonwealth versus Reed, Wywicki responded, she will ask Reed if he can wear it to court. Wywicki later tells Kearney, quote, "It's okay to wear the T-shirt," that should say shirt, How long to die in cold? I got the okay. End quote. Kearney responded, "You asked Alan?" An apparent reference to one of Reed's attorneys, Alan Jackson. She responded, yeah, you can wear this stupid shirt. Okay, moving on. In early June of 2023, the two women had a falling out. Wawicki had provided some encouragement and advice to Kearney over a proposed documentary. Upon learning of it, Reed became angry. An argument ensued, and the two women ceased speaking to one another. That's probably happened before. Okay, moving on. Wawicki was aware, however, that Reed also communicated with Kearney through John Silvera, and Wawicki herself had provided Reed with Kearney's Signal username so he could not contact him directly. Grand jury summonses issued to Verizon requesting call detail records for the two of Kearney's phone numbers and the phone number Wawicki provided to the investigators for Reed. The resulting records showed 189 phone calls between those numbers. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Totaling over 40 hours. That's a full work week. Okay. Kearney continued to lie to the public about his cozy relationship with Reed, denying in an August 29, 23 video that he was communicating with her lawyers. Obviously, the telephone call was not the exclusive means of communication, as the two were also communicating, for example, through the Signal app, which I mentioned earlier. Okay. The defense, as it developed it in the first Reed trial, as tendentiously previewed by Kearney's statements and its actions as it unfolded in court, was something of a, quote, murder on the Orient Express, unquote, defense. It's kind of an old reference there for me. Maybe I'll update that a little bit. Anyways, okay. Everyone in the O'Keefe home on the night of question, as well, the investigating officers and others, either murdered John O'Keefe or was complicit in the cover-up of framing Reed, who was innocent. As the grand jury could have concluded from the evidence before it, in pushing this theory, Kearney attacked virtually every prosecution witness, including all people present in the house that evening, as well as certain of their family members who probably actually did that. Anyways.
Fucking totally did. And you know it.
Okay. For reasons of the presentation, okay. He also savaged O'Keefe's family members for their support of the Reed prosecution. In addition to his verbal attacks, the defendant harassed many of the witnesses by means of what he called a quote-unquote rolling rally, gathering caravan of his followers to drive.
I don't know that word either.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You wrote it.
I know, Will. Stick with me here, please. Okay. To the homes of the witnesses where he denounced and taunted them with a megaphone. Oh, goodness.
Oh, God, no. Not the megaphone.
Yeah, often exhorting them to tell the truth, which the witnesses understood as an accusation they were liars. Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Right.
But it's not intimidation.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What you said. All right. All right. Argument. Here's the argument here. I put this in. Okay. Having previously brought and fully litigated a McCarthy-Odell motion, the defendant has no right to bring a renewed attack on grand jury proceedings already upheld by this court. Arguments he previously raised have been considered and decided and are settled. Arguments that he failed to raise but could have waived. On January 14, 2025,
February 14th, you blind old motherfucker. February.
What did I say?
You said January.
I'm sorry. I'm a man of advanced years. We know this. On February 14, 2025, the defendant filed his McCarthy-Odell motion to dismiss indictments for lack of probable cause and for the prosecutor's impairment of the integrity of the grand jury with misrepresentations of law and fact, well, fact and law, I'm kind of dyslexic. Okay, moving on.
You and me both, my man.
At the time he did so, the Commonwealth had provided in discovery to all defendant all of the grand jury minutes. Among other things, he thereby necessarily had a full, complete knowledge of the following.
Here we go. This should be great.
That the grand jury heard that special prosecutor Yellow Mellow ultimately did not ask the grand jury to return an indictment against Kearney for allegedly wiretapping Mr. Scanlon. All of the testimony of all grand jury witnesses, including D.L. Tully, we know what that stands for, all of the instructions given or not given to the grand jury by Yellow Mellow, and all questions and comments made by him, all of the excerpts of Kearney's online media presentations introduced in evidence, and they were identified on the thumb drives introduced as grand jury exhibits. Kearney originally told this court, quote, the prosecutor impaired the integrity of the grand jury by misrepresenting fact and law, soliciting opinion, and distorting the state of evidence by selective omissions.
That's totally what happened.
Okay, I'm just reading, Will, you know, okay. He specifically argued that Yellow Mellow's instructions to the grand jury were deficient and that he elicited, quote, improper opinion and hearsay, unquote. However, he did not bother to raise any argument concerning the absence of a wiretapping indictment, alleged that Scanlon was a victim, and neither did he complain about the accuracy, completeness, editing, or titling of the video excerpts introduced as exhibits. Undersigned counsel filed a response memorandum, henceforth response, addressing Kearney's arguments on March 5th, 2025, on May 19th, 2025, having the benefit of both parties, memoranda, copies of the grand jury minutes, and copies of the online excerpts played for by the grand jury to the Commonwealth Court. Doolin was there for that one. Okay. Issued a comprehensive decision in allowing the motion, in part, dismissing 6 indictments as presenting insufficient evidence, primarily those that named troopers as victims, but otherwise denying it. Neither party moved for reconsideration. Neither party sought an interlocutory appeal. Give me 1 minute, Will Glare. I got to take a sip of water here. This is some heavy reading.
Do you want me to take over for a little while? I can do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind for a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot. I get it. You know, you're a man of advanced years.
I definitely am.
Right. So, all right. Now the defendant wants to do it all over again. Writing on Kearney's behalf, Attorney Betterow has made the same arguments, having adduced various examples of alleged sins committed by Mr. Mello, some the same as presented by Attorney Bradel in the first motion to dismiss. He plucks a few different examples, but all of them readily available in support of the defendant's motion in round 1. As one justice of this court has aptly put it, a motion is not a dry run or a dress rehearsal to come back once an adverse ruling is obtained to try and do it all over again. What? To be sure, a judge may permit a motion that has been heard and denied to be reviewed or to be renewed when substantial justice requires. Blah, 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 blah. Case law bullshit. Emphasis added. Such instances should be rare. However, lest, as said in different contexts, judges would become Penelopes, forever engaged in unraveling the webs they wove. What? What is this? What are you fucking droning on about here?
I think Penelopes means like, I actually don't know, Will. Keep going. Okay.
Renewal, however, is typically appropriate where new or additional grounds are alleged, which could not reasonably have been known when the motion was originally filed. A reporter's notes, blah, 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 blah. Emphasis added. The Superior Court, a motion for reconsideration shall be based on newly discovered evidence that could not be discovered through the exercise of due diligence before the original motion was filed. Yeah. Hold on. What are you trying to pull here, bro? Look, in the Superior Court, a motion for reconsideration shall be based on newly discovered evidence that could not be discovered through the exercise of due diligence before the original motion was filed. Yeah, that would have happened had you shared all of the discovery in the first place. If you weren't trying to cover up a goddamn fucking conspiracy and collusion to get Turtle Boy's bail revoked. Well, not you, but your buddy, Mello, over there.
Yeah, Yellow Mellow. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of shit are you trying to pull here, man? Let's see here. Change due diligence before the original motion was filed. 2, a change of relevant law, or 3, a particular or demonstrable error in the original ruling or decision. A motion for reconsideration shall otherwise raise no new grounds for relief not raised in the original motion or opposition, and shall not reiterate previously advanced arguments. More case law bullshit. The defendant's motion for reconsideration flouts each and every one of the 3 prerequisites, which may explain why he shrinks from honestly labeling it as a motion for reconsideration. Not true. You're wrong. You're lying, because the first one, number 1, newly discovered evidence that could not be discovered through the exercise of due diligence before the original motion was filed. It absolutely would be. Did you die?
No, I thought you were still going. Where are we?
Well, I'm just talking about this one thing. It's saying that none of these, that your motion to that Bettero's motion to dismiss and the grounds, they're not covered by these reasons as to why a motion for reconsideration shall be. So a motion for reconsideration shall be based on 1, newly discovered evidence that could not be discovered through the exercise of due diligence before the original motion was filed. So the fact that you lacked, or Mello lacked, the due diligence, and you lacked the due diligence before the motion was filed, then it counts.
Right. I get where you're coming from, but you don't really expect me to make that point for you in this motion, right? I mean,
oh, shut up. In his initial motion, the defendant did not attack, as he now does, any of the video evidence offered by the Commonwealth. For his present motion for reconsideration, he now claims that the prosecutor and Detective Tully, 1, deceived the grand jury by grouping videos the Commonwealth offered as evidence of intent on a folder on a thumb drive exhibit labeled as intent, showing edited clips that allegedly deprived the grand jury of viewing Carney's actual full episodes, many well over 2 hours long, and 3, assigning titles to the edited clips and did not match the titles Carney assigned the full episodes. Right. They didn't match. And one of them, that's not even the point. You're totally avoiding. You're playing look over here, not over there. You're playing look over there, not over here right now, Cossie. I see what the fuck you're doing, because you completely omitted the fact that one of the videos that was posted in that thumb drive that was in there was not online.
yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I might have to tweak some things.
It wasn't online. That's the whole point.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll edit.
How did Tully get it?
Well, I told you he's been in my basement. I'm buried in my briefs.
Right. Uh-huh.
And
Anyway, although the Commonwealth will shortly develop, these arguments have been entirely waived by their omission from the first MD motion to dismiss. It first stoops to briefly address the substance of Carney's newly raised claims concerning the videos. 1, Tully never testified that Carney created the thumb drive folder labeled intent, into which Tully placed the videos showing Carney's intent, and no reasonable juror would have drawn such an implausible inference. Of course they would. Moreover, the jurors had available for viewing the video clips themselves and could view them and draw their own inferences as to Carney's intent. 2, counsel's use of the term edited to describe these clips is artful and falsely implying that the contents were somehow modified or distorted. Were that so, one might expect the 88-page affidavit to offer examples of the edits, but there are none, and that is because the edits consist entirely of exact clips of relevant content broadcast by Carney. The only editing in selection, the appropriate course, according to counsel, would have been to show the entire episode for each show, or by Mr. Carney's count, over 50 hours of content. Bullshit. You could have gone, maybe 5 minutes before your clip and 5 minutes after your clip. Maybe. If not 10 tops. But not the entire episode. You're exaggerating here. You're making, this is hyperbole on your part there, Kasi G.
Hyperbole, yeah.
It absolutely is.
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole, yeah. Hyperbole.
Do you want me to read? Do you want to keep reading? You want me to read?
Go ahead and read. I got to step away for just a second. Go ahead and read.
All right. I think I know where we're at.
We are at the top of what I've got highlighted. The very top.
Counsel's use of the term that?
Yes, that's it.
Counsel's use of the term edited to describe the clips is artfully and falsely implying that the contents were somehow modified or distorted. Were that so, we already did that, right? I'm sorry. The appropriate course, according to counsel, would have been to show the entire episode for each show, or, by Mr. Kearney's count, over 50 hours of content, prescinding from any question as to whether subjecting the grand jury to such an extended dose of Kearney video would have violated the constitutional prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, geez, I'm really salty on that one. Such a course would have inserted confusing and irrelevant material and doubtless would have generated additional defense arguments that Kearney was prejudiced because the Commonwealth presented evidence of other conduct for which it did not specifically request indictments. If one were to seriously entertain the defense's quote unquote play the whole video argument, a useful way of thinking about it would be by analogy to the trial doctrine of verbal completeness, which holds that where the Commonwealth places into evidence passages of the defendant's statement that it believes support the charge, the defense may then put in such contemporaneous evidence from the same statement which contradict, modify, or otherwise throw light on the prosecution's passages. This rule is exhaustively discussed in Commonwealth versus Watson, blah, 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 1979. In the context of admission of documents, defendants have insisted that either the whole document or no part of it was competent. There is no such rule. Blah, 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 United States, some case law from 1951. Okay. Of course, the standards of a grand jury presentation are less exacting than the trials. A grand jury is not bound by the rules of evidence that hold a trial. The grand jury hardly could have been misled by the titles Lieutenant Tully used to identify the excerpts he played for them. Consider the specific examples which the defense singles out as, quote unquote, misnamed and misleading episodes, i.e., Tully, those titled Tully is trying to destroy Colin Albert's life, quote unquote, life as normal is over, and impromptu live 8/7/23, Alberts should be afraid. All of those titles were taken from Kearney's exact words. which the grand jurors saw and heard him speak as the YouTube clips were played on his presentation, and which this court has had exhibits at the defendant's previous McCarthy-Odell motion to dismiss, if there was any. All right, we got some footnotes here. Are they worth bringing up? Hold on.
Let's see.
He's laying out how they came to the titles by justifying stuff that he said in the video, but naming them as the title. I think that's what I'm doing. He's doing. I'm doing.
Right. And the titles don't fucking matter because the content explains the context of the titles, bro. Like, you have to, like, do you think that the judge is retarded? Do you think that the jury's going to be retarded?
Well, I'm banking on it. I mean, I hope
so. Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right, moving on. I'm going to skip that part. All of the examples chosen and singled out, not by the Commonwealth, but by the defendant himself via the Betterow affidavit, are illustrative of the truth of Lieutenant Tully's statement that, quote unquote, name the videos to accurately describe their content, often using the exact relevant phrases spoken by the defendant. Okay? Also, some of Tully's titles for excerpts were far more anodyne than the Kearney titles for the full episodes for which they were taken. To pose two rhetorical questions, if Tully's purpose were to use the excerpt titles to inflame the grand jury, would he really title the excerpt from episode 580, Elizabeth Proctor, Dumbest Wife Ever, Brian Albert, Opposition to Motion, the blank call to Elizabeth Proctor? Would he have toned down Kearney's drunken lotto Michael Morrissey declares war on turtle riders? Or to response to D.A. Morrissey's statement? I think that's a question for the fact finder. Okay,
I feel like you're really like proud of this fucking, like you finished this motion and felt like a wordsmith, didn't you?
Well, I mean, listen, man, I've been getting a lot of crap for like the past 8 days. I mean, my stuff's been blowing up. Hey, Costy, you alive, dude? You gonna respond? I kept telling you I didn't wanna. Kept telling you I don't feel like it. Kept telling you I didn't feel good, and you'd be like, oh, well, where's your stupid response, Costy? You dead, dude? You got 1 foot in the grave, bro? You taking your Geritol? Well, so here you go. Here's the response. It's all you all friggin' wanted. Okay? All right. I'm sorry, Will. You know.
Are you done?
Well, not done reading, but I'm done with that part. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Are you done fucking whining and complaining?
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. All right, but the court need not wade into any of the defendant's contentions.
Does this look like a fucking rest home?
I'm sorry, what's that, Will?
Does this look like a fucking rest home?
I mean, kinda.
Is your water jug empty? Is your bedpan need emptying? What's happening, Cossie?
No, the bedpan is currently empty. I'm looking at it right now.
You don't have a floater in there?
Not yet. The day is young.
Are you sure?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I have some Stanka. I mean,
dude, Cossie, come on.
What?
We can hear you.
Okay. So
we can hear. We can hear. God damn it, Jesus, dude. Okay, yeah, just keep reading, please. Jesus.
All right. All right.
A little self-respect.
God. All right. But the court need not wade into any of the defendant's contentions about titling of the excerpts because the defendant has waived the argument, failing to make it in his original motion to dismiss. At the time he filed the motion, he obviously had available to him the full episode names that this time around he has lovingly memorialized in a 3-page chat, Betterow affidavit. He had all the relevant grand jury transcripts containing each and every word of Lieutenant Tully's now calls to the court's attention, including all the titles designating the clips played for the jury, which he previously ignored, but now excoriates. It's a good word. He had copies of the grand jury exhibits, including each and every video exhibit played for the grand jury, and that he now references. No one knew better than the defendant himself what he had titled his original episodes or presentations, and that they were lengthy, often well over 2 hours in length. It could not possibly have escaped. These punks, they're afraid of me. They should be. If I were them, his attention that the Commonwealth played not the full videos, but pertinent excerpts, that the Commonwealth placed some of those exhibits in an electronic folder designated quote unquote intent, which the defendant obviously knew he did not create, but that the names of the excerpts typically corresponded to their content, not to the titles himself he had given the episodes. Nobody was better situated to make these observations than the defendant himself. Okay.
Are you peeing right now? Did you? Jesus.
Well, if you're playing sound clips and stuff, I can't hear them.
I just go on.
God damn it. Okay. Finally, even straining charity to the point of believing Kearney was oblivious to the obvious. Jesus. At the time he filed his McCarthy-Odell motion, with the Commonwealth's opposition to that motion clearly should have alerted him to the issue in time to raise it at oral argument before Judge Doolin. Attorney Betterow correctly surmises that undersigned counsel had been unaware that the excerpt titles came from Tully, not Turney, relying as undersigned counsel did on the exhibits introduced before the grand jury. However, for whatever reason, undersigned counsel nevertheless did notice one retitling and scrupulously called into the attention of the court. In discussing the video excerpt, quote, confronting Jennifer McCabe at a lacrosse game, unquote, undersigned counsel states that, quote, apparently the title was assigned by the Commonwealth. The video comes from a Turtle Boy live broadcast presentation asking Jennifer McCabe that question. Does she know the answer? We have a little bold print. Catherine Peters' involvement, also known as
Crusty Pigs.
She of the crusted persuasion, as an informant in the investigation of Kearney's alleged crimes, provides no substantial basis for reconsideration of this court's prior denial of the defendant's McCarthy-Odell motion. Okay. Moving on? Keep going?
Yeah, please.
All right. Geez, Will. Kearney acknowledged in passing the existence of his prior motion to dismiss, but asserts that he filed it without access to undisclosed evidence, which he claims was important. The defense designates two such pieces of evidence. First, communications between Miss Peter, Yellow Mellow, and disgusting loser Tully, which was critical and if disclosed promptly would have been included of support of the defense's first motion to dismiss. And second, the previously discussed presentation to the grand jury of excerpts from Kearney broadcasts that were labeled Lieutenant Tully, Betterow affidavit. The defense claims that it learned of this for the first time on September 4th, 2025. As fully demonstrated above, that contention is risible. It is true, however, that since the previous defense motion to dismiss, the defense has acquired communications among specially appointed prosecutor Yellow Mellow, disgusting loser Tully, and she of the crusted persuasion, and so has new evidence. That being undisputed, the remaining legal question for this court is whether the significance of the evidence is such that substantial justice, case law bullcrap, should dictate of undoing of Judge Doolin's previous denial of the defense motion to dismiss. It should not. Okay. There is factual dispute that the court should resolve. The defendant paints Miss Peters, I think that should say Peter, as a member of the prosecution team. Indeed, the dominant player to whom specially appointed prosecutor Yellow Mello outsourced investigative work. Per Bettero, Yellow Mello was supposedly, quote, aware that she had edited Mr. Kearney's content with her own editorial slant and bias, and reviewed private links she had sent to him 2 days before the grand jury proceeding. The implication of the latter assertions, apparently, is that Yellow Mello and Tully were spoon-fed, maliciously edited clips by Miss Peter, which they then mindlessly regurgitated as grand jury exhibits. As Lieutenant Tully's affidavit demonstrates, this is not the case. See whatever page for that. Miss Peter was not of the prosecution team, but a source of information among many sources. The primary source of information was the victims of Kearney's broadcast, who complained about them to the Commonwealth, a lot, by the way. Although, to be sure, Peter may have also brought some of that information to Mello's or Tully's attention. I bet she did. In each instance, Tully went himself to the internet. I'm surprised he could do that. Okay. Viewed the allegedly offending materials, copied, if appropriate, and presenting it to the grand jury. All right, we got a little footnote here. It looks like some other crap I don't want to read. Moving on. Okay. Named in a way that accurately identified its contents, usually using Kearney's own words as contained in the excerpt, the defendant's bald assertion that a Commonwealth employed Miss Peter to quote-unquote clip, edit, and rename Mr. Kearney's episode and then conceal the actual episodes for their accurate information from the grand jury's consideration is an outrageous and irresponsible untruth. I thought that was okay. Okay. But in 2 instances, the Commonwealth, of necessity, did use exact videos provided by Ms. Peter because those videos were no longer up on the internet. I don't think that's how that works, but okay. Allegedly, because they had been removed. Both were wiretapping claims. One arose in connection with an alleged surreptitious recording of Lindsay Gatuni, which the defendant played on an internet broadcast presentation. The evidence was that the initial version was taken down and a second version substituted, into which Kearney edited it for some other source of an announcement that he was recording the conversation. Gatuni's testimony corroborated that Kearney never told the conversation was being recorded. The initial version, not the second, was genuine. The other Peter recording was introduced during the grand jury presentation involving Mr. Scanlon. Okay, so the separate wiretapping things. Okay. At trial, a defendant might well contest the authenticity of these or any recordings, but here the Commonwealth had a good faith basis for believing them to be accurate, based on the statements and testimony of the involved witnesses. See Bettero, blah, 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 thank you. Scanlon claimed Kearney told him he wouldn't record their conversation. There was no impropriety in their introduction. All right, were the court to include otherwise, however, the proper remedy would be the dismissal of the resultant tainted indictments. That is unnecessary. The Gatuni indictment is not before this court, mostly because she's suing me.
Right.
It was never part of blah, 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 blah in any case, has been nolle prossed for unrelated reasons by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Neither is a Scanlon indictment before this court, As for the defendant has complained repeatedly that the Commonwealth did not ask the grand jury to return one. That's probably a good point. As for the indictments actually before this court, to the extent she and Mr. Kearney share a mutual loathing, and they clearly do, and to the extent which they may desire to see him hurt, humiliated, and imprisoned, probably all three, and she apparently,
Shots
does.
fired, Cossie.
I mean, yeah.
Like now, all of a sudden, she's got a vendetta against Turtle Boy. That's your own witness, bro. The fuck?
Well, she's not suing me yet, so for now she is. Right.
Yeah.
The questions for the court and ultimately a jury: should a trial judge permit counsel to go down that particular road? That's kind of a road sign. Is not the bias of any particular informant, but the reliability of the evidence. The Commonwealth's evidence before the grand jury consisted of videos indisputably made by Kearney, documenting his own actions and testimony of his victims as to their knowledge of those actions and the impact they had on their lives. Whew, that was a mouthful. If Matt the Commonwealth of any particular video's existence. What matters is the authenticity of the evidence. For all the relentless characterization of Tully's labeling of the video's excerpts shown to the grand jury as improper, better, motion, blah, 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 snippets, other weird shit. Okay. Nowhere, twice I put, and maybe I make that once, nowhere does the defendant point to even a single word of Kearney's in any video clip and has been altered or modified by the Commonwealth. Nowhere does he point to a single instance where a word was omitted, altering a meaning, and nowhere does he represent that did not create the videos of his own actions and words shown by the Commonwealth to the grand jury. All right, give me one minute, Will.
No problem. I wonder what Cossie's doing right now. Like, I wonder.
Probably filling up that old bedpan you were talking about there, Will. Oh, I hear that one. Okay, I get it.
Gross. Yeah, no wonder. Of course you hear it.
Yeah, well, I can't get up right now. My antenna will flip over.
Jesus, how much you... Okay. God damn, Cossie.
Well, I've had a lot of Sanka.
Oh my
right,
God.
That's
Jesus,
you. That is not me.
Come on, Cossie.
That's not me. Please stop.
Jesus, Cossie.
Please shut it down. All right.
That's what I'm asking you to do, sir.
Oh
my God. Jesus, that is explosive, sir.
Oh, man. I can't even hear these.
You had to squeeze one more out. Okay.
Is that it? Am I done?
I don't know. Are you?
Okay.
Jesus.
He does not make those representations because he cannot. At the end of 30 pages of memorandum of law, 88 pages of meandering argument, mislabeled as an affidavit, and a host of exhibits, the defendant's contentions amount to nothing more than sound and fury, signifying nothing. Ooh, Jesus, Cossie. I think I was on one that night.
There you go.
Yep. All right. Moving on. The Commonwealth has provided the defendant with extensive discovery in this case. Whatever the problems or flaws in its production of discovery, and there have been some, they fall far short of requiring the draconian sanction.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Of the case. The Commonwealth promptly provided the defense with extensive discovery as borne out by the items set forth in undersigned counsel's letter to Attorney Bradalow, also notable for his expression of undersigned belief, naive in retrospect, that discovery was then almost complete. This court should take note of discovery itemized in that letter. The subsequent discovery letter, June 13, 2024, and indeed the Commonwealth filed and docketed response to the defendant's previous discovery motions and measuring the veracity of the defense's claim that since Mr. Curdy's 2023 indictment, the Commonwealth has exhibited breathtaking indifference to its constitutional and statutory obligations to disclose evidence to the defense.
That's right.
Okay. Discovery has continued since that time, with the Commonwealth responding to defense requests and the defense, in turn, finding problems with the discovery provided. Alleging missing discovery, sometimes correctly so, continuously generating new discovery requests and
Dude,
demanding further explanation.
It's like you lie as effortlessly as you pass gas. It's insane.
Yeah, that's what you ever heard attorneys?
Just go on.
All right. Some of the Commonwealth's problems have been logistical, which are not the defendant's fault, but inform the realities of production. By way of background, the investigation into Carney began about May or June of 2023, give or take a month or two. Attorney Mello, a resident of Bristol County, was engaged as a specially appointed prosecutor on or about before September of 2023. 6 months later, in March of 24, the Norfolk District Attorney recruited the undersigned to Mr. Mello with some legal research writing and similar tasks. Mello, however, proved to be gravely ill and is currently yellow and has been physically unable to appear in court, requiring yours truly, the undersigned, effectively to assume full responsibility for the case. In point of fact, the undersigned has never been able to meet with Mr. Mello in person, mainly because I don't like him, since the entry of appearance in any case against Mr. Kearney. This is my affidavit, Cosgrove. Okay. While counsel has largely been able to obtain discovery materials directly from the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, some of the necessary materials have been in Mr. Mello's possession, and his ongoing health problems and intermittent hospitalizations, except when he comes to court to revoke bail, he's been there for those, have retarded the process of acquiring them.
They have retarded the process of acquiring
Yeah,
them.
it was a fun one.
Love it.
Right.
Holy shit. Retarded.
That one was a shout out to the antenna people. I know they like that.
Retarded.
Retarded. To return to the previously mentioned May 8, 2024 discovery letter, the court will note that in addition to the discovery produced by undersigned counsel, it references discovery previously provided by discussing loser Tully. Mello's illness, then hoped to be transitory, Tully was employed in the prosecutor's normal role of providing discovery. All right. Where we are. Another difficulty with discovery in this case has been the ongoing nature of the defendant's conduct towards the alleged victims and witnesses. To reiterate just a few previously brought to the attention of this court and others, there was his online hope that Tully would die horribly, along with his wife and children, charmingly coupled with Kearney's self-comparison with Jesus.
Oh, God.
His nose to the window antics. It's a shout out to window intimidation right there. Yep. Antics and accusations in the form of questions at the Albert Pizza Shop, also known as D&E, captured by their security camera.
Pizza.
His recent drive by outside Cape Cod home of a witness in the Karen Reed case, which, if you remember, Higgins said, "Get the fuck out of here." His discourse as to whether or not an officer's wife was quote unquote blue because Kearney speculated she gave her husband oral sex. And his repeated libels of Jennifer McCabe as a murderer. These and a host of other antics are hilarious, sometimes relatively minor, but offensive. Some offensive, but okay, all right. But clearly legally protected speech prompt the victims to contact the district attorney's office a lot, often by email, questioning whether action can be taken, whether the conduct is a bail violation, amongst other things. Tell them to leave us alone. How can we get them to stop blogging? Things like this. Arguably, these constitute discoverable statements, although they say nothing whatsoever about the crimes with the defendant is charged. To the extent they provide information on subsequent bad acts, the Commonwealth would be obligated to disclose such bad acts in any case before attempting to admit them at trial. If the statements are otherwise arguably discoverable, it is because they show a bias against Mr. Kearney and that conceivably can be used to impeach him. But the reasons for any victim's bias are obvious from the very facts alleged supporting Kearney's charges. In that sense, discovery of the statements is entirely cumulative. This court should consider limiting discovery going forward to exclude victim statements that make no factual references to the underlying charged offenses, or to the prior or subsequent bad acts that the Commonwealth seeks to introduce at trial. Otherwise, there will be no end to it because he does it a lot, okay? All right. As it did with its attack on the grand jury, the defense focuses much of its criticism
on the grand jury presentation, sir.
Presentation. Sorry, I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a trademarked word. Okay, moving on. Criticism of the Commonwealth's provision of discovery concerning she of the crusted persuasion, which it claims support its preposterous theory that she and Lindsay Gattuini, Mr. Mello, disgusting loser Tully, and possibly others diabolically plotted to have Mr. Kearney's bail revoked by luring him to intimidating Miss Gattuini after they made her what Mr. Bradelo describes as a witness, taking care to put the term in scare quotes. Discovery provided by the Commonwealth shows that Gattuini was indeed a witness and also suing me, interviewed by the police with specific attention to what she knew about Kearney's ongoing communications with Green. After that interview, she received a summons to testify before the grand jury, like so many other issues. Okay, the defendant has raised this in court before. The Commonwealth picks up the story by quoting a previous response. In abbreviated form, the Commonwealth summarizes the evidence, largely drawing on Ms. Gattuini's testimony before the grand jury, supplemented by police reports and other evidentiary materials, all of which have been provided in discovery to the defense. Ms. Gattuini met the defendant in September of 23 after viewing his presentation in various YouTube shows, dealing with the Karen Reed case and ordering a t-shirt from his website. The relationship became intimate. Ooh. By the beginning of December, the relationship had soured. You could say that again.
It's soured.
Gattuini came to the attention of Special Prosecutor Mello, who dispatched Detective Lunatic Brian Tully and a specially assigned private investigator, Nelson D. Guevara, to interview her. As a result, the detectives returned Gattuini's home on December 22nd of 23. Upon receiving the summons, Gattuini feared that Kearney would think she had sought out the detectives, and I believe she was, and was trying to get him in some sort of trouble. She was afraid he would retaliate in some way. She called Kearney and sent him pictures of the summons. Hours of phone conversations and text communications ensued. Kearney became upset and accused Gattuti of setting him up by passing along information to Kate Peters. That's Kate Peter, no S at the end. I got to fix that. Okay. A woman who he believed was adverse to his interests and had provided the information to police. The following day, December 23rd, acting against what he told Gattuti was his lawyer's advice. Kearney announced that he wanted to come by Gattuni's apartment to discuss Gattuti things. Okay. Gattuni agreed. They met first at a business conference room in her apartment building, which was apparently nice, from what I hear. Upon arriving, Kearney demanded Gattuti give him her phone. He said he wanted to read any messages between Tully and Peters, which is Peter, sorry, as well as any messages with disgusting loser Tully and Yellow Mellow. Gattuti refused. The defendant then threatened that his lawyer was going to destroy her on the stand, tear apart every piece of her life and embarrass her, bring up everything from her past. I don't know, that sounds made up to me. Stalling for time, Gattuti went into the bathroom, big surprise, and telephoned Yellow Mellow, who spoke to him briefly. Mello called Lieutenant Tully and told him Gattuti said the defendant was in her apartment and forwarded her call. Tully could not understand anything she said. Well, that's weird. How would you know what she said? As the voices were muffled, inferably because Gattuti did not want the defendant to overhear. Okay, that's what I meant. Right. After several minutes, the call ended. Gattuti sent Lieutenant Tully the following message. Ken said to call you, but I can't. He's knocking on the bathroom door. I have to go back out. Please don't text or call Ken, first name basis Ken, not because he wants to see my phone. I'm deleting our calls and texts right now. Please don't respond because I'm doing crazy shit. Okay. Gattuti emerged from the bathroom and unsuccessfully attempted to stall, showing the defendant her phone. Terrified by the defendant's threats, Gattuti acquiesced, and the two proceeded to her apartment. In the course of the conversation, the defendant instructed Gattuti to delete from her phone messages between the two of them. He said that I would not get in trouble if I wanted to throw my phone in a river or delete any messages with this summons. There was no order for preservation of evidence. So he said I could get in trouble for removing any incriminating information from my phone about him. He said that he confirmed this with his attorney, Tim Bradelow. For the next several hours, the defendant went through Miss Gattuni's phone, reading exchanges between Gattuti and Peter, and taking notes. At the conclusion of this process, the defendant announced that he was very proud of her and was going to protect her. The reconciliation, such as it was, did not last long, however. Later, while the defendant's attention was elsewhere, Gattuti ripped up the page of notes that he had taken from his notebook. Why would she do that? Okay. And shoved them down her shirt. Ugh. That's crazy. And subsequently hid them under her mattress. Footnote below. The defendant became aware that his notes were missing and demanded them back, accusing her of stealing his property. Eventually, he announced he was leaving, and after some delay, did so. Gattuti recounted these events the next day by telephone to Tully, who told her to call the Medfield police to report the incident. Tully perceived her to be hesitant, so he called the Medfield police, reported what Gattuti said, and asked them to follow up, which is absolutely crazy. You're having a state cop call a local police station to make a complaint for you? Okay, moving on. The defendant has complained repeatedly that the phone texts of the evening between Gatuni and Tully were not included in the subsequent copy of the download of her phone provided to them by the Commonwealth. Undersigned counsel explained why that was the case in his letter to Attorney Bradalow in May of 24, telling him, pertinent part, if there is missing data, that is because it was missing when the phone came into the Commonwealth's possession, custody, and control, and thus we don't have it. Commonwealth later secured the missing text with Tully by means of copying them from his cell phone and handed them to counsel in open court during a hearing. All right. 1 second, Will. Drink of water coming up.
Yeah. We might just get through this, sir. We might get through this whole thing. It's okay if we don't. But
yeah, how long did I make this thing?
I mean, 26 pages, and we're on page 19.
All right. Okay. Let's keep going here. So in sum, the defendant wishes to tell a grand jury that the Commonwealth engaged.
Hold on 1 second, though, because something's wrong here. So I'm going to have to refresh, and then I'll bring you back on. Just stay backstage. You'll be fine.
All right.
Or you might have to click on it again. I don't know, but
no, we'll see.
All right. Oh, good. Okay. Now we can share that. All right. We're back in business, sir.
All right. Hey, there's a nice picture of me. Okay.
You are a strapping lad, sir.
Yeah. That was a couple months ago. I was much younger.
Exactly.
All right. So in sum, the defendant wishes to tell a jury that the Commonwealth engaged in a plot with Kate Peter, I got it right that time, no S, and Gatuni, to make her a witness and then lure him into her apartment, provoke him into criminal conduct, then arrest him so his bail could be revoked. So cunning were the alleged plotters that Miss Gatuni studiously avoided any mention of their plot and its apparent progress when texting Tully. Nothing like, it worked out, or he's here now, arrest him, which I would be ridiculous, but oddly
like,
neither.
Gatuni's helping Aiden now. Like, you realize that?
Yeah, she's helping me to retire too. So yeah, I mean.
I'm retarded?
Where am I?
Where are you?
I don't know, man. Equally oddly, Gatuni never reported the incident to the local police. That's because Tully did it. A lapse step prompted her alleged co-conspirator Tully to make the call. Truly, this defense theory is Lincoln-esque, at least in the sense that Lincoln has been quoted, likely falsely, as saying, you can fool all the people some of the time and some of the people all the time. I graduated with him. He was a good guy. So yes, obviously the defendant is correct that the Commonwealth thinks little of his theory. Whew, Joe, spicy that day. But indulging in the defense's contention that the Peter discovery was required, irrespective of the Commonwealth's subjective belief in the reliability of the evidence, and further assuming, arguendo, that its conspiracy theory would be admissible defense against a now dismissed Gatuni indictment. How probative it is, the indictment set before this court, where Gatuni is not a victim. The video evidence against the defendant was the product of his own hand. Kate Peter did not organize, participate in, or induce the defendant to organize, participate in, film, and broadcast the rolling rallies in which the defendant led a caravan of cars to the doorsteps of witnesses.
Do you really think that this deflection is going to work, bro? Do you really
know, man.
believe
We'll
that
see.
shit, dude? Like, Jesus.
I mean, we'll see. Will Glera, but I like this word, harangued them and intimidated them by using a bullhorn. Neither did Kate Peter compel the defendant to dox and defame witnesses and their family members. The defendant did that all on his own. And to what extent has the defendant been prejudiced in any delay in disclosure of the PETA discovery? He's actually calling it PETA discovery. Okay. As he repeatedly asserts, if prejudiced at all, he has not shown it. The defendant has also related complaint concerning discovery concerning Miss Peters. I went back to Peters with the S now, i.e., the Commonwealth's alleged failure to preserve exculpatory evidence. The Commonwealth provided in discovery various emails sent by Miss Peter and Mr. Mello, and some to Lieutenant Tully. Certain of those emails contain links, usually, judging by label or context, to various online presentations by the defendant. Tully's general practice, by no means exclusive to him, was not to access links in unsolicited emails sent from parties outside the NDA's office, Criminal Justice Network. It's a weird thing to call it. Mello, on the evidence of one response to PETA email suggesting he was unable to access the content, apparently did so, at least on some occasions. The emails remain, but not all of them have links that are active. They need to adjust their antennas, apparently. They have not been successfully accessed by the undersigned counsel, and Tully and defense counsel also report that those links are dead, almost like I am. Why they are dead is wholly speculative. Possibly the path expired of its own nature or was removed by the sender. None of the emails at issue contain any warning to the recipient that the links were time limited. All right. What do we got? The factual scenario raises some of novel legal questions, e.g., what duty does an agent of the Commonwealth have to access an unsolicited link? Conceivably, exposing computer networks to malware, if the link, which is essentially an electronic path to another document, is not accessed, was the unaccessed document ever in the Commonwealth's actual possession, as expressed in Defendant's Memorandum 28, if the link is accessed, absent some notice that the access may become available in the future, does the Commonwealth have an obligation to attempt to preserve the contents of the link in some other form as a precaution? Does that obligation, if it exists at all, depend on the contents of the link? For example, geez, I'm getting kind of deep in the weeds here. For example, if someone says an unsolicited email saying that the defendant looks a lot like Humphrey Bogart and attaches a link to Casablanca, Jesus, Cassie, it is sufficient simply to save the email, or must the Commonwealth download and preserve a copy of Casablanca? Does the content of Casablanca constitute part of the statement of the witness, or is it simply her own words and the fact of her attaching? Okay, I'm going to skip that part. I got to cut that out. Okay. It's a little much. I agree with you. Given the difficult nature of the novel legal questions raised above, the most useful line of analysis may be to assume arguendo that the Commonwealth had a duty to access links and to take some measure beyond preserving the emails that contain them as prophylactic against their possibly becoming dead links. Prophylactic. Good word. The court can then proceed to a more familiar question, i.e., was the evidence once available at the links favorable to the defense? If so, how damaging was its loss? Well, if you don't have it, you don't know, right? So in the light most favorable to the Commonwealth, that's basically what that says. Under Brady versus Maryland, even the court is satisfied that the Commonwealth lost or destroyed evidence. The defendant is not entitled to relief unless he first establishes to this court's satisfaction a reasonable possibility based on the concrete evidence rather than a fertile imagination that access to that evidence would have produced evidence favorable to his cause. There's some case law crap there. Here the defense asserts that the missing evidence was favorable because it allegedly demonstrated bias by Ms. Peter and supported the defense's theory that the shoddy bad faith investigation relied upon a civilian who despised Mr. Carney and had a documented history of falsifying evidence against him. See Memo 28. But none of that is true. Given as the defense says, Peter's cooperation with the Commonwealth and her dislike of Carney, it hardly seems probable that she sent links to evidence she thought exculpatory. There's an F in front of I don't think that's a word. Okay. The reasonable and probable inference is that she sent links to Kearney's own broadcast, which she thought to be inculpatory and pertinent to the existing or possible charges against him. Thus, the defendant wisely makes no argument that the content of the missing links is exculpatory, but fiercely asserts that they demonstrate her bias against Kearney. The inference must then be that bias is demonstrated either by the content of the messages containing the links, but not to the defendant quotes none, or the mere fact that Peter was providing evidence to the Commonwealth, even if that evidence were probative of guilt. But there is nothing damning in any citizens assisting a police investigation by providing information. Rather, Ms. Peters, I went back to the, that's okay. Lack of credibility, if there is such, is only demonstrated by the defense's parade of her prior antagonistic statements against Kearney and what it terms her documented history of falsifying evidence against him. None of this comes from the lost dead link evidence. If, unlike here, a defendant meets his threshold burden as set forth by Neal, the court then applies a balancing test. To determine the appropriateness and extent of remedial action, the court must weigh the culpability of the Commonwealth, the materiality of the evidence, and the potential prejudice to the defendant. See Commonwealth versus whatever, blah, blah, blah. Going through all that. However, this court need not proceed to that test, for no consideration of the government culpability or materiality occur unless the exculpatory nature of the evidence is shown. Are you still with me there? I haven't heard you in a while. Will Glera?
Oh, I was muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, you're there. All right, I just wanted to make sure, because I can't kind of look up to see the chat or anything. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Where am I? Should the court disagree, considered in the light least favorable to the Commonwealth, the analysis as follows. Culpability of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth delayed unduly in providing requested discovery of certain emails.
Shut up! Oh my God, I don't care!
During the period of undue delay or earlier is unknown. The Commonwealth has not been shown to have been aware of the likelihood of the links going dead, but is shown not to have engaged in flow with purported examples of impeachment evidence the defense already has to introduce against Kate Peter. Should the trial judge allow such evidence against a witness, the Commonwealth has no need to call to prove its case under the pending counts of this indictment. At best, the missing evidence is entirely cumulative.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Defendant relies on Commonwealth versus whoever in 1998, which undercuts rather than assists his cause. There, the Commonwealth failed to preserve from an autopsy a missing piece of it. Okay, that's gross. I don't want to say that. The Supreme Judicial Judge, in holding that the loss of evidence, surely more explicitly defined and potentially helpful to the defense at that time, did not justify a dismissal of the indictment. A bunch of case law, which I'm not going to read. If and only
trace the signal.
His threshold burden. What? I'm
Keep going.
trying to get through this, Will Glare.
I know.
Why are you putting that? Okay, all right. If and only the defendant had satisfied his threshold burden and the court then proceeds to consider a remedy based on the above analysis, the Commonwealth respectfully suggests that no remedy is required, but again, should the court disagree, surely any remedy should fall short of dismissal.
Okay, smartass. Let's see what this mystery's all about.
That one request in his never actually filed motion was the disqualification of Special Prosecutor Ken Mello, the defendant's memorandum of law. However, commenting frequently on Mr. Mello's alleged failings never addresses this request. There is a point I arguing.
So how did you like that?
Loved it. I want to ride that horse again sometime. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
All right, Roman numeral 1, point Roman numeral 2, arguing failure to properly disclose exculpatory evidence, but no. Point 3, perhaps twixt the affidavit. What are you doing? Can I just get through this, please?
I'm reading the super chat. People are loving this. People are loving this. This is great.
All right.
Great.
You're killing it. Okay.
You're killing it, Kasi. You're killing it.
All right, I'm sure.
Slaying them out there.
All right. However, the issue is moot anyways. The copy of Judge Doolin's memorandum of decision on the defendant's prior motion to disqualify Special Assistant District Attorney Mello, as forwarded to this office by the clerk, bears the docket numbers, blah, 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 which you're not going to read. I don't even care about that. The Commonwealth has not sought to appeal Judge Doolin's decision. During the early months of Mr. Mello's disability, due to him being yellow and ill, the district attorney, Mr. Mello, and undersigned counsel hoped that he would soon recover, but that is probably not going to happen. Okay. Footnote here, explaining his decision, Judge Doolin stated, ADA Mello is in receiving communications from a witness while the alleged crimes were being committed, made himself to a potential witness in Kearney's case. Apparently, the judge's explanation was insufficiently damning for the defense, which sees the opportunity to recast it for this court as follows. Mr. Mello's involvement in this scheme, it's a good word, the alleged plot to frame Kearney for witness intimidation, have his bail revoked, which was so great that it resulted in the court disqualifying him from the prosecution of the 2024 indictments in which Ms. Gattuti is the alleged victim. One may look long and hard at Judge Doolin's decision without seeing a statement even remotely suggesting what the defense avers under penalty of perjury. Proceedings well over a year has passed, and that hope has not been vindicated. Moreover, there is no likelihood that Mr. Mello will be capable of appearing in court in the coming year unless to revoke bail, in which he always seems fine, either to an advocate or in any other capacity. Bowing to these harsh realities, the Norfolk District Attorney and Mr. Mello have not entered into a renewal of his expired contract. Conclusion, Jesus Christ, getting there. For the reasons set forth by the Commonwealth.
No. Wait.
In the Bradelo affidavit should be denied, with the exception of the defendant's prayer to disqualify Attorney Mello, which the court should take no action on as the issue is moot. XOXO, respectfully submitted, Specially Appointed Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove.
Boo! You suck.
Fucking what a pile of shit that was. Specially Appointed Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove. But you read it very well. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic read. This is one of the funnest episodes I've ever had. And I'm really grateful to you for joining me.
Thanks, Will Blair. I mean, I don't, it's kind of, it's a lot of janky language in there.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking. What would you
I don't know what I was thinking either.
Take too many geriatric medications that made your head a little loopy?
Well, yeah. I mean,
okay.
There's a lot of, starts and stops and quotes and,
Right.
Anyway, I hope the antenna people liked it.
Yeah. Antenna people, I think they did. I think we got we got an excellent reception. This was fun. This was totally I thought of this on the fly, and it turned out to work out exactly how I hoped it would.
I was thinking of it as well, but I wasn't going to pitch it to you, you know
right.
what I mean? But when I got to page 3, I'm like, how many friggin' pages is this thing?
I can't believe we did it in 2.5 hours, and I still even went over the Lauren Matthias bullshit.
Yeah, she's something else.
Yeah, so this turned out to be a really good live stream, and so just in time too to fucking send everybody over to a cupcake raid, glare raid over to the Cupcake channel. Melanie Little, she's live, I think.
Great.
So yeah, so make sure to go over there and let her know it's a glare raid, folks. But Specially Appointed Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, it is always a pleasure. I appreciate you being on my YouTube presentation, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Will Blair, for having me on your presentation.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. People, Specially Appointed Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, everyone.
Everybody.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much again to Specially Appointed Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove for joining me. It was so much fun. You guys hanging out. I mean, and I didn't even plan this, man. I was like, dude, I'm going live in 30 minutes. Fuck this shit. And it was so much fun. You guys are so much fun. So people, please make sure to hit the like if you haven't already. Please make sure to subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Please make sure to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live, like I just did on the fly. And people, we raw dog this shit. Okay? That's what we do. All right? So people, I want to thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys for hanging out and having a good time. The fact that you guys enjoyed this so much is most important thing to me in the world, and it's really fun. So I love this. My favorite thing to do is hanging out with you guys. So appreciate you guys. And just remember, it only takes a second to stay safe. I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.
Watch out!
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school just like their neighbors and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.